Oh wow! Hello guys, and welcome to another video from Bass in the Ozarks. Today I'm gonna be putting out a little video coming from my garage. Fishing in the wintertime is not always the best, but I'm gonna give you some tips and my go-to baits for wintertime fishing. I'm gonna narrow it down to 5, and then I'm going to finish out with a swim bait review that I just bought recently. So. I'm going to start off with probably the finesse jig. This is about a 6/16 ounce to maybe a 5/16 ounce finesse jig. We got it in a black and blue with a little trailer on here. Now this trailer is good for summertime fishing. It could probably work in wintertime, but there's just a lot of action, so I like to make it a condensed action, and I'll get like a smaller Reaction Innovations beaver. I'm not sponsored by them. I wish I was, but I'm not sponsored by them. Just a good trailer. Yeah, you get the gist. It's a really good subtle bait that I love to use around rocks and little drop-offs that always triggers lethargic wintertime bass fishing. Yeah, bass. I'll give you a close-up real quick. Next up on the list is also very similar, but when there's like a little bit of a warmer snap, I guess you could say, where the water heats up just a bit, I like to go to a little bit more a bigger profile, and that would be this is a net bait. Yeah, it's not big bite. They're super similar, but this is the net bait PACA Curl. I think this is a baby size or regular. I'm not sure, but yeah, it provides a lot of action. It's kind of like a propulsion jet. Not really, but it gives off a lot of water and a lot of vibrations. It's super good in the water with these two flapping crawtails, and it works really good. And I like to put that with a 5/16 bullet weight. This is a little bit fatter one, but you get the gist. 5/16 to 4/16 depends on how lethargic the fish are, and how they want it. The fish in bass fishing in the wintertime, really any season, it depends on the fish. It always depends on the fish. You have to play by the fish's rules, unless you get across a lucky day and you get to throw frogs in topwaters. But yeah, you have to play by the fish's rules of how they want it given, I guess you could say. But yeah, so there's the second one knocked off. Alrighty guys, next up on the list is the Shaky Head. Now this is when the fishing is ultra slow and you just can't buy a bite. Where I fish a super rocky, like pretty much no contour, and this thing always gets it. I fish it off maybe a slight, maybe 1 foot to 6 inch drop off, and this thing absolutely kills it in the wintertime. It's a super subtle presentation, stands up just like this in the water. I usually throw it in a black flake watermelon color, and it absolutely kills them, and I'm sure it'd kill them at your lake too. What I like to fish this around, I like to fish slow, but I like to fish this around drop-offs, smaller drop-offs. You don't want to be fishing 20 feet of water and then it breaks off into 50 feet, So definitely keep it on the subtle side of drop-offs, and I'll throw it in wood. I'll throw it in any type of cover. Flat out catches fish. So yeah, there's a Shaky Head. Probably around 4/16 to 5/16. Again, goes back to the PACA Curl on how they want it presented to them weight wise. So yeah. Next up is the infamous Dropshot. Now I don't have a hook with me, that's over there, but I like to go with the 2/0 octopus hook by Gamakatsu. Always sticks Dropshot fish. I like to get it on. I mean, I'll go really any kind of weight, but I really love these weights right here. I believe this is in like a 2/16 to 3/16 ounce weight. Awesome, perfect weight. And I'll go like I just said, 2/0 Gamakatsu octopus circle hook. Alrighty, and I'll also like to throw worms like this color, like on the Shaky Head, just like that. Yeah, that's that for drop shot fishing. I like to fish the drop shot, and everywhere I like to throw the shaky head, except for obviously wood and structure, because that would just be one bad day of breaking off. So next up is the Fluke. I'm back. Oh, gosh darn it. Okay, I'm back. Next up, guys, is the Fluke. The Fluke in wintertime can produce a lot of fish. And I like to fish it with I believe, don't quote me on this, but a 4/0 to 3/0 offset shank worm hook by Gamakatsu. And that's usually when I'm fishing it around cover, wood, sticks, you know, the usual. But most of the time, I'll fish it with what I drop shot fish with, which is a 2/0 Gamakatsu octopus circle hook. And that's a great way to, I guess, stick some fish. But when I fish a Fluke, I tend to go with the albino color, or if not, I'll fish it with a disco violet color, or just a straight pearl white color. But yeah, sometimes I'll actually fish it with this color right here. Don't quote me on any of these colors, but this is a watermelon red and black flake color. Great for clear water conditions, kind of matching the hatch with your, if you're fishing ponds most of the time, just because you may not be fishing in ponds, you may not be fishing for shad, or not fishing for shad, but imitating shad. So I like to go with that color. Sorry, I cannot speak. But yes, albino is probably one of my favorite colors to fish the Fluke. Believe that is all. Oh, one last thing. Where I like to fish this. I like to fish this pretty much anywhere except for Okeechobee, of course, because I'm not going to be flipping 2-ounce weights with this big boy. Really anywhere besides the place that I just mentioned. But rocks, wood, sometimes even in grass patches, you find open grass spots, moss, weeds, anything like that. It's a great lure, and again, I'll give you a close-up. To transition to our last lure, which is a review lure of the H2O Express Swimbait from Academy. Now, on first sight, this thing looks like a pretty decent lure, and you think maybe, oh yeah, I'd see $15, $14, $20 maybe. No, this thing was actually, it retails for $5.99 from Academy. Yeah, $5.99. Now, I'm no California West Coast fisherman, but that's a pretty good deal. And just looking at the paint job and the joints, it just looks like a perfect action. But yeah, I'm so excited to be able to throw this thing out on the lake. So pumped. Looks like a perfect swim bait for ponds, I guess smaller lakes, creeks, like bigger creeks, not tiny creeks, but yeah, little rivers. Looks perfect. There's one complaint I have with it actually, and that is the hook selection for the back hook. Now this hook looks good, right? I mean, it's pretty similar sized hooks right there, but it came stock hook with this big boy right here. This thing is tiny compared to that one, and I was just not going to let that happen. So I switched that hook out. The stock hooks aside, it's a great swim bait. I mean, it looks good. I've watched a video of people just hammering down on some fish with this swim bait. So super pumped to get out on the water and test this thing out. But guys, that is all that we have for today. Yep, talked about the finesse jig, PACA Curl, drop shot, and it's just the weight, shaky head, and the Fluke, and the swim bait. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Every view on each and every video that we have is just a blessing from the Lord above, and I'm so thankful for it, because this is a dream that I'm really wanting to go through with, and actually try and do this as a profession. Now, I'm not John B, and I don't have the coolest edits, but I'd love to actually do this and become a pro one day at fishing and at YouTubing, I guess. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'm not John B. Have a good day. And I missed.